And I'm unmuted. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're seeing this. Welcome back to the Phoenix National Network. We are in Relationship Empowerment Week. And again, we have Whitney with us today. Whitney, in case you don't know, you probably do by now, but she has a background in psychology, 15 years of professional recruiting. Heart Hunters Love Coaching is her passion and her business, and we're lucky to have her here with us today. So Whitney, it's all yours. I'm going to sit back and listen to what you have to say today.
Thank you, Oscar. Yeah, today is going to be an exciting topic. We are going to be talking about masculine, feminine polarity, and that has a lot to do with energy. Let me pull up my slides here and share my screen. Okay.
I see it.
Again, I am the owner of Heart Hunters Love Coaching. I specifically work with women whose love life is disappointing or non-existent, especially in these COVID times. And I help them to find peace within themselves and connect with their femininity, their feminine nature, their true authentic self, and help them to cultivate loving relationships. So it's much more than tips and tricks and here's a quick 5 steps to finding the love of your life. You know, this is really about transformation and personal change. This topic is really close to my heart. I have experienced being on both sides of this. You know, a little bit about me and my background. I had my son at 24 years old, young, and did not have a great partner for that. So I was stuck to really take care of him, take care of myself, do everything. And something that I've learned along the way is partnerships are there for a reason. And we've evolved over millions of years into the bodies that we're in. And we don't have to be defined or constrained by them, but it really is beautiful and helpful when we sink into our true nature and can really open up and be happy. So let's first look at what I mean by polarity. So if you look at this scale, on one end of the spectrum, we have masculine, and on the other end of the spectrum, we have feminine. About 80% of women identify with feminine energy, and about 80% of men identify with masculine energy. That means not everyone is going to fit into this little dynamic that we're going to be talking about. Some people identify as the opposite. It's funny, even though in homosexual relationships, a lot of time there still is this polarity where one person is really leading with the masculine energy and the other person is leading with their feminine energy. It's amazing how in our modern day culture, you know, it's sort of like the pendulum has swung almost too far. You know, women were second-class citizens in a lot of ways and limited in our options. But what happened is when we had the women's liberation, and now that we have more freedom and options and choices as women, and we're able to tap into the masculine energy that we have to get ahead and do things for ourselves, we've almost pigeonholed ourselves again. And, you know, we can't do everything. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here because I get excited about this topic. But let's talk about what it means. So it doesn't mean just because you're a man, you're masculine, just because you're a female, you're feminine. There are some exceptions. But for the most part, if you are looking for a relationship or you're in a heterosexual relationship, you'll see these dynamics. And if you think about couples that are in the friend zone, where maybe they've lost that spark and they've lost that attraction. I picture a newlywed couple where she's running away from him in the kitchen and he's trying to grab her butt and they're playing playfully. When that fades away and you become just like roommates or friends, that's in the neutral zone. The attraction just isn't there, which is caused by that polarity, like magnets. You know, two ends of a magnet that are the same will repel each other, but two that are different will immediately attach to each other. So if you are a woman and you're thinking about what it means to be feminine, and I coach women and I work with a lot of different types of women. I've worked with CEOs and CFOs, as well as everything in between. But what women really want deep down is they want to be led. They want to surrender. They want to have a partner that they can completely trust in. And again, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. So when you're at work, you're often using a lot of that masculine energy. But when it comes to going on a date or meeting someone new or making sparks fly in your relationship, that's when it benefits you to sink in to that feminine. I love to salsa dance. I lived in Miami for many years, and one of the things that I always looked for in a man was a man that could lead. And it doesn't mean that he has to be a great salsa dancer. It's really a metaphor for life, because in salsa, the woman is put on display. The woman is doing all kinds of really fun, interesting, intricate movements, and she's shining. But the man is leading. The man is calling the shots. The man is guiding her and presenting her and being her rock and her solid foundation. And I really love that metaphor, because the feminine energy is not weak. If a woman is salsa dancing and she's weak and she's just kind of blah, 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 it's not going to look like a beautiful dance. So the woman has to be strong, and the woman has to be knowledgeable, and the woman has to be powerful. And it's that amazing spark that happens when the two of them come together. And natural masculine energy wants to lead, wants to achieve, wants to go, wants to be in control. So what happens is, in today's society, when a man is in his masculine, he attracts a feminine woman. And when a woman is in her feminine, she attracts a masculine man. So imagine if a woman is in her masculine, she's going to attract a more feminine man who wants to surrender. You know, we say, oh, she wears the pants in that relationship. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. So let's talk about, again, this doesn't apply to all, but typical men and women, some of our basic differences. So if you've seen babies, you'll see that baby boys will automatically gravitate towards vroom, vroom, vroom. And females are born with an affinity for faces and voices. That's why they like dolls with faces. So again, not 100%, there's always going to be exceptions, but this is typical men, typical women. Typical men are competitive. Pecking order and hierarchy are very important. There was a study that showed that by age 7, wherever the man was, the boy in the pecking order was where he would be at 15 as well. And a lot of times it continues into adulthood, although it doesn't have to. And that's part of why coaching and therapy and self-discovery and all of that is important, because you can really change yourself. Typical women desire harmony instead of that pecking order and competition. Typical men will automatically go into problem-solving mode. And again, there's been studies that show that different parts of the brain are activated when it comes time to problem solve or under stress. And this part of the man's brain that's activated is the problem-solving mode, whereas women want to be emotionally expressive. This is why if you've been in a relationship, you've probably had this dynamic where the woman says, I don't need you to fix my problem. I just need you to listen. I just need to be able to vent. And it's important to understand that about each other and the differences and not get frustrated. You know, I am not a man basher. And I feel like in this day and age, we have healthy masculine and we have unhealthy masculine, and we have healthy feminine and we have unhealthy feminine. And healthy masculine is the archetype of the king. This means that men are living in their masculine energy. So they want to achieve, they want to conquer, they want to embody this full presence of consciousness in a healthy way. And they look for win-win situations. They're not using their power to force anyone into anything. They're using their power for everyone to prosper. We blame men a lot for wars and all of this, but men also help to create the society that we live in, both the good and the bad. So I think that it's important not to fall into the trap of hating the person in power just because they have been in power. But a healthy masculine man will stand unshakable in the face of danger and disaster. You can trust him to lead. He's here, now, present, into progress, structure, making stuff happen. You know, they often seek release, like sports, even male ejaculation is a release. That's what they strive towards, and that's how testosterone is built. So when you think of toxic masculinity, we all are familiar with that, the tyrannical leaders taking advantage of their power, using muscle, achievement, power, and that creates not only a win-lose situation, but a lose-lose. And then femininity, when it's toxic, it uses the surrender to diminish others or to take advantage of others. Might use their sexuality to take advantage of men or belittle them, using her power for no good. You know, those are the kind of women that you'd call a bitch. Women that want power but are out of control. And a healthy feminine is the archetype of the queen, fully embodied, present, able to surrender and let go, able to trust, able to be in chaos and find peace and comfort within the chaos. I work with women a lot on embodiment. So embodiment means you are aware of your physical body and your intuition, and not just in your head. You know, we have our mental self, our spiritual self, and our physical self, and our emotional self. And it's important to integrate all of those. If, you know, I've seen people get physically ill over not living their true self. If someone lives a lie for a long time, a lot of times they'll develop physical ailments. You guys probably know this. There's a lot of books about this. The body keeps the score, for example. So, but the healthy feminine is strong and powerful and wise. And they also are into a win-win situation. They're very wild and intoxicating and irresistible to men. I picture, you know, a wild horse is like a woman, like free and flowing and attractive. And it's just something that you can be in awe of when we really sink into our feminine energy. So yeah, I wanted to share that a little bit about the healthy versions and the toxic versions while we're going through this. So typical men, brain goes into, all right, propensity for spreading his seed. So this is evolutionary psychology. Again, it doesn't define anyone that we have to live that way, but that is how we evolved. And there is a natural propensity for monogamy in women, just based on our past evolution. Typical men are attracted to women who symbolize fertility. You know, again, this is evolutionary. This is hips and curves and all those things. And typical women are attracted to masculine features, the ability to provide and protect. So that's a few ways that we're different. Masculine energy, again, it's power, direction, achievement, competition, giving, fixing, decisiveness, hold space, and muscle. Feminine energy is power, flow, surrender, letting go, wildness, like the ocean waves, chaos, sensual. So when you think of the word sensual, you want to think about the five senses. This is something that men find so intoxicating about women, is when we can really notice our senses, like, oh, this shirt, this is one of my favorite shirts. It's velvety, it's soft, it feels so feminine to be in it. And when I'm with my man, I can say, oh, feel my shirt, it's so soft, it feels so good. Or when you walk into a restaurant and the aroma of the food just hits you like a wall, and you'd say, oh, it smells so good. You know, men love that we can really be in our senses a little more than they typically are. Feminine energy is receiving. Feminine energy fills in space. So the metaphor here is, if you have an empty shelf in your home, you know, a man most likely will not feel extremely compelled to fill this shelf, fill this space. He might, you know, he might do it because he probably has some feminine energy in himself as well. But the feminine will often feel this urge, this pull to add a candle or a plant or a picture frame, or, you know, we enjoy filling in space. You think about, you know, the throw pillows that women use to fill in space and make things feel more comfortable and pretty. It's natural in our feminine essence. Also related are nature, radiance, and depth. So with the discussion of polarity here, I want to also just talk a little bit about how we're similar, how we're all human and we have basic human needs. And if you haven't watched the other two talks that I did the last 2 days as part of this Relationship Power Up Summit, I encourage you to. The one I did yesterday about boundaries was really explaining not only how we create boundaries to keep things out, but how we set boundaries as far as expectations of preferences and desires, and how speaking up about your boundaries will lead you to a place where you're leading with your authentic self and you're feeling authentic. And your goal is not to win people over and be seen as this perfect person. Your goal is to be your most authentic, true self. And that is true for men and women and everyone. So we're all human. We all want to feel loved. When I work with my coaching clients, my women, a lot of them come in with these false beliefs, these limiting beliefs, these, you know, rackets, if you will, where they just believe, oh, you know, there's no good men out there, or I'm intimidating to men. I assure you, no man has ever left a date and said, oh my God, she's so intimidating. You know, that's just something that happens when women are leading with their masculine energy in the relationship. And they think, well, I'm independent, I'm taking care of myself, I don't need a man. Well, I'm such a great catch, I have everything. Why am I single? You know, and a lot of them get comfortable with that idea, you know, and it's important to be comfortable with yourself and be able to be alone with yourself. But when you're putting up a wall and not letting in love and not letting in relationships and not realizing that to have a partner on the other end of this polar spectrum would be a benefit to you, a lot of times that's these limiting beliefs that people come in with, you know, I'm intimidating, I'm too much, I'm not enough, all of those things. So, and men can have those too, and they have their own set of worries and fears when they're getting into a relationship. But deep down, we do want to feel loved. We do, you know, a woman wants a man to come in and claim her and wrap his arms around her and kiss her on the head and say, you know, you're mine and I love you. And it feels amazing, both to the man that's able to conquer and grab and take, and also to the woman who wants to surrender and wants to trust and wants to be led. We want to be seen and we want to be appreciated. Appreciation is probably the number one best thing that you can do for your relationship all the time, every day. When you think about a fight that you've had or a negative past relationship you've been in, when fights come up, a lot of times it's all about the negative things. And those past negative things will often come up again as well. So it might be, you didn't take the garbage out. Why didn't you take the garbage out? I know I expected you to do that. And you know what? Last week you didn't do this and you didn't do that and you didn't do this and you didn't do that. So a healthy relationship will talk about what you appreciate and what the person is doing for you. And you talk about those things every day so that when something happens, like the garbage didn't get taken out, you could say that, hey, you didn't take the garbage out like you were supposed to, but that avalanche and explosion of negativity doesn't come up because you're actually padded with positivity and appreciation. So just telling someone, hey, thank you for texting me on your lunch break today. That really made me feel great, you know, or thank you for taking the garbage out. You know, if someone makes you coffee every single morning, are you grateful? Do you appreciate them? Do you tell them? Do you give them a little affection for what they're doing, or has it just become expected? That's a trap that we want to try to avoid in long-term relationships, is losing that appreciation for each other and that gratitude. Both men and women want success and balance. There's been studies that show that men are just as likely now as women to turn down a job that doesn't provide them work-life balance. So in healthy ways, all humans want this, want success, want balance. Unfortunately, a lot of us will often create walls or armor to keep away threats, pain, and harm, and also hide a part of ourselves at the same time. So again, I talked about this a bit in the Boundary Badass presentation I did yesterday, which I'll be sharing. So I encourage you to watch that. But as we grow up, we get hurt, and that's how we end up building these walls and these self-defense and survival mechanisms to protect us. But what we really need are healthy boundaries. And when you think about walls that let everything be blocked out, they're letting out the good and the bad. But if you think about a cell wall, it blocks out the bad, but it also lets in the good. It is able to absorb the nutrients. And that's what we all can strive for as humans, is to have healthy boundaries that keep out the bad, protect us from harm, but also let in the good things. We all need a safe space to feel like we can open up and be vulnerable. Vulnerability means really opening up and being your authentic self, letting someone know about your past hurts, letting them know about what inspires you, what bothers you. Really being honest about this is what creates intimacy. When someone can be vulnerable and the other person treats them with compassion, That's the definition of intimacy: vulnerability plus compassion. I jokingly ask this question, what is the way to a man's heart? Most know the old saying, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. But actually, I want to tell you a few things that are not. So obviously that's not really true. It might help, yes. But the other path is mental, connecting with a man intellectually, intelligently, being smart, having great conversation. That's a great plus. It's a wonderful thing to have, but it's not what creates spark and attraction and love and intimacy. It's just not. You'll never win a man over by being his smartest companion. That's a potential for being a great friend or something in between, but it's not what really sparks the attraction. Also spiritual. If you're someone who is very spiritual, maybe looking for a partner in church, you can share spirituality and you can be going on the same path, but that alone is also not enough to win someone over and create that loving attraction and spark. The way to a man's heart is through his heart. Women are naturally more emotionally expressive, and it's something that men crave. A lot of men have grown up to be strong and be tough, and most of them are born with that in their nature, but then it's also society that puts that role onto them. And when men can attach with a woman, and again, these two opposite ends of the polar spectrum here, it gives them something that they need. So for women, we sometimes hold back. It's very counterintuitive because we don't want to be drama. And we sometimes think that we have to be like a man to be liked by a man. And that's where we're wrong. We don't have to be like a man to be liked by a man. We have to be our own absolute best self in our own body, in our own femininity that feels wonderful and natural. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit more about laws of attraction. And this is about what really creates attraction and that spark and that love between two people. So the first one is we have to crush our damaging false beliefs. So those ideas that all men are cheaters, all men are bad, or all women take advantage of you. If you have those beliefs, and again, we're really just scraping the surface in this talk. It's only going to be an hour or less, and there's so much more. I could talk about this for days. And with my clients, it's really about putting things into action and really uncovering where these false beliefs come from, reprogramming the brain. I'm a big fan of Joe Dispenza, and I study neurofeedback, and there's a lot of studies now that show that we can reframe our beliefs, we can change our brains, we can change our personality, we can change ourselves. So again, we appreciate and validate each other, express gratitude often, daily, have fun together, humor, excitement, novel activities. If your relationship starts to get stale, or someone is pulling away, pulling back, pulling out of the relationship, you start to get these worries, tap into your feminine or masculine energy, and also express gratitude for all the little things that you appreciate with them, and do something new together, do something fun, do something exciting. It really creates just that fun atmosphere together. Be receptive. So this is primarily for women who the feminine energy is a receiving energy, and yet many of us feel like we have to do. We take care of others. Oh, can I do this for you? Can I do that for you? Let me make you dinner. And when we give too much, it exhausts us. And we talked a lot about people pleasing yesterday. That's a great example. But really being open to receive is super energizing for women and can be really fun for a man too, whose natural propensity is to give and push and make. Make and keep yourself beautiful in your own eyes, as well as your partner's. Have an ongoing affair. So imagine what it would be like if you were having an affair or if it was a brand new relationship. You want to keep those elements in your relationship. So making physical contact, touching and flirting and being cute are really builders of attraction. Also give each other space to be individuals. Have friends of your own, have activities that you can do on your own, and don't feel like you have to be the same person or enjoy all the same things, because you just don't. And keep trauma to a minimum, of course. All right, so that's the whole presentation. I'm excited to see what kind of questions you guys have, what kind of comments. I received a couple of questions here that I will address as well as we go forward. And for anyone who's interested, my website is hearthunterslovecoaching.com. You can use this Calendly link to book a discovery call with me. I offer a free 1-hour session with anyone who's interested, where I'll ask a lot of questions and uncover some patterns, talk about what your ideal self looks like, what your ideal love life looks like, and how I might be able to help you to achieve that.
Oh man, that was good. I'm taking notes like a crazy person here. And here's I'm going to ask you a tough question. All right, so I know we're talking about male energy, female energy, and it applies to both sexes. You have that in every given day. But what I wrote down here is being masculine in the politically correct zeitgeist will lead you to be called a toxic masculine person and mansplaining all the time. How do you navigate the politically correct waters? I mean, if you did this lecture in 1957, no problem. Now, people are going to say, wait a minute, but that's not right. And that, we should all be equal and we should all be, a nice beige, no greens and no reds. So how do you explain to people that it's okay to have different?
This is a polarizing topic. It really is. We have feminists saying women are equal to men. Women need to have all of the same rights as men. But if you ask a feminist, if a draft happens, should we draft both men and women? She's going to have a little different opinion. And I've seen interviews like this, and it's tough because what I'm working on doing, what part of my mission is to help individuals. I know that I can't boil the ocean and I can't change the entire world's belief system on this. So I connect with people who want to make the best out of their own situation and help individuals. So it's a tough climate. As far as mansplaining and feeling like men are ridiculed for just being men, there's a lot of that happening. And I actually empathize with men who are just being good people and being good men and being criticized for it, because women are feeling like we need to not only like we need to catch up, like we're in competition, like women need to catch up and even get ahead of men. And so they kind of put the men down in order to get ahead of the men. And we have this whole movement of the future is female. Well, let's face it, the future is female and male.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The future is allowing a man to be a man and allowing a woman to be a woman and allowing them opportunities. Men have the opportunity to be a stay-at-home dad if they want to, and he can still totally be in his masculine energy, but also use his feminine energy in positive ways. And a woman has the option to be amazing in her career and really push things forward. And also she has the option to be a stay-at-home mom. I remember when I considered dropping out of the corporate world, it hit me really hard, harder than I expected, because I felt so compelled to never ever be in that stay-at-home mom type of category. And I had to really evaluate it and say, you know what? That's not me. I'm not just a stay-at-home mom because I have this business, but I had to come to the conclusion that it's okay. It's okay to do that. It's okay to step back and be that. You know, we have so many beliefs that have been ingrained in us through our childhood and through our society that it's hard to break through them. And that's why I have this coaching program, because you can't just tell someone, hey, do this, and they change. It's a journey and a process, and it takes a lot of different steps to get there.
You know, I'm going to show an example. I'm going to show an example of what you compared to salsa. You were like, when you're dancing. So I'm going to show some, for those people who don't know what it looks like to dance salsa, I'm going to show you real quick.
Everybody up, well, you guys are up early. Get on the dance floor and prove that thing easy.
Yeah, so, I got to confess that dancing gene did not pass down from my parents to me.
No, but
they can dance tangos, which is incredible, and I can hardly walk straight.
I was introduced to the bachata a few years ago, but it gives you a full-on example that it's a matter of flow, right? It's just like life. Is you once you kind of realize, take all the definitions out. What is my relationship like with the person I'm with? Right? If it's where I have the passion to do certain things and they have the passion to do certain things, you know, work with each other's passion, you know, make each other's dreams come true, you know, and you'll both be happy, versus kind of like trying to fit into the Brady Bunch stereotype. You know, well, this is what the Brady Bunch said. Right? You know, and up to this day, I have no idea what the husband did. And you know, I mean, he was always home. Maybe he was a work from home kind of guy. You know, you know. I mean, yeah, we have that. Go ahead,
Oscar. I have a question. So when you watched that salsa, not having known salsa or learned it, can you even tell that the man is leading the woman?
You know what? I saw her spinning him. And then, you know, so it looks like in that clip that they would switch roles of who's leading who.
You know, and they don't actually.
Really?
They don't.
No.
Yeah, they don't. And that's the really beautiful thing about masculine, feminine energy working in flow naturally, is it's seamless. And in salsa dancing, like I could see, like the man takes his hand and touches her back and does this little push that she knows, okay, it's time to do this now. And he does all these little things to lead her in different ways. He goes tug, like this little tug on her hand, and then she knows, okay, I got to do this now. And they work in flow. So when a woman is competing with a man, when a woman is like well, I don't know, if she's like, I'm going to be a better whatever than you are, I'm going to be a better sports player, better this, better that. And in a relationship, when you compete, you butt heads like this. But what happens when you're both in your full natural selves is you end up doing this together, and you flow and you use your energy, and your energy holds each other in and holds each other up, instead of, you know, hurting and harming each other.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? We're talking about, you know, masculine and feminine energy. There's a great line from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and is when the mother tells the daughter when she's about to get married, says, the man is the head of the family, but the woman is the neck, and she can turn the head any way she wants. You know, there was a great line from that movie.
Yeah.
And how much of what you do is battling societal norms now? You know, it's like, okay, you have to be, you know, you have to be the man in the family, even though you're the woman, because everybody tells you, you know, that the rise of the feminine.
Well, first of all, there is no you have to, but I see what you're saying is that's the societal pressure of you have to. And unfortunately, women are, instead of being expected to be the 50s version of a woman, now we're expected to be everything. Everything.
Right.
We're expected to work full time. We're expected to have babies, take care of babies. We're expected to, you know, have our cycle each month and still power through everything that we need to do. We're expected to maintain the relationship and maintain our body and be sexy and be attractive. And women have a lot of pressure on them. And so really sinking into your natural being and your natural self, it's really letting go of those false beliefs and the societal pressures and saying, I'm just going to do me.
Yeah, exactly. I want to explain too, when we talk about masculine, feminine energy, you know, some people may not even know what that is.
Are you going to mansplain to us now?
I'm going to mansplain it. Yeah, I'm going to I'll see. I'll do my best. And Whitney can help me with this. But primarily, we all have depression is a type of energy, right? Joy is a type of energy. We're always energy is a constant flow of life. It is life, right? So we are constantly carrying a certain type of energy with us wherever we go. And so when it says masculine, it's more like what men do naturally. There's certain things that men just do, and ladies get frustrated and they're like, why do you do it like that? Because I'm a man. There's no scientific explanation for it.
And you don't want to be hated just for being a man.
Right.
Especially when you can be in that king energy of, I'm taking care of people, I'm taking care of things, I'm doing the right thing. Like, there's so much good that men are doing in the world that we're not shining spotlights on, you know, it's not making the news.
Right. It's not making, and so it's like I think the message I heard in this whole thing is it's okay to be a woman. It's okay to be a man, right? Nobody needs to put it. There's no negativity to it because it brings when you're doing it right, you're bringing balance, and I saw that with the dance is when you're flowing with each other and you have that balance, it's just amazing. It's amazing because you're flowing within your relationship versus trying to fight the flow. Okay, well, you should be doing this, but what if I don't have the capacity for that? You know, I could be like President Obama, but I'm not. I am definitely not that. You know, you could be like, Michelle or, somebody else, but you're not. You're Whitney. He's Oscar, and I apologize for that. And I'm, but we're individuals, and I believe the moment you see a person and you can appreciate them for who they are, you can flow with that person. If you can't see that person, then you won't be able to appreciate the qualities that they offer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And because men have both masculine and feminine energy and women have both masculine and feminine energy, it's important not to discard, a woman doesn't want to discard all her masculine energy. You don't want to be a damsel in distress. You've got to be a take care of yourself. Even if you don't have a man, you do have to be able to take care of yourself. You have to be the best person that you could be the best version of yourself that you can be. But there's this lie of women's strength is independence. And again, I'm for love. I'm for love and relationships. And in love and relationships, it's okay to need someone. It's okay to want someone. It's okay to be fulfilled by someone. It's like icing on the cake. It's you're not a horrible person without it. You're not empty without it. You're still a whole person by yourself. But it's this beautiful icing on the cake to need someone and have them meet your needs and fill your needs and express what your needs are so this person can fulfill them. Women are strong. Imagine we're all the different things that women do. We're strong, but a strong woman is not I don't need anybody. I'm independent. The strong woman is happy and fulfilled.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. So again, we're going to end with this question. You help people on this journey, right? In kind of like discovering these things and knowing, what they need to do. So you kind of let everybody know how they can reach you. I know it's on the screen. So, but let them know anyway.
Yeah, thank you. My website is hearthunterslovecoaching.com. And on my site, you can book a free discovery call with me. I'll spend an hour with you. We'll look at your relationship patterns, like I said, what you want out of life, what you want out of relationships, how we might be able to get there. And it's so much more than just this. We cover so much, and individuals need individual healing, whether you're male, whether you're female. We're all coming from dysfunctional families to some level.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot to work through to really heal and to become someone who's going to not only be a great person, but make a great partner for someone else. And that's really my mission in this world.
Wow. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Whitney. Oscar, you're amazing as well. You're not as beautiful, but you're amazing.
as beautiful. Thank you. There's a qualifier in there. Listen, my masculine energy doesn't let me share my muffins with you, so I apologize. That was the masculine energy coming out.
Yeah, but we're gonna definitely be seeing Whitney again. This is our last day of the last day of our relationship Power Up Week. So we will be definitely doing this again. We rotate our subjects. Next month we'll be talking primarily about finance, and so we'll be featuring that. But you will see her again. We have our monthly programs. And so we'll definitely have that going. At 12 o'clock, we're going to have Jason Harris. He's going to be back, and he's going to be talking about relationship with our bodies, and he's going to give us some physical exercising things. I love when Jason comes on because he challenges me to be healthier. And also, we're going to have Karen Mayo, author of Mindful Eating, and which you can find on Amazon. And she's going to be talking about our dietary needs as well. You don't want to miss those programs. This is amazing information. And I'm always learning from our programs and our shows. So we will see you guys back at 12 o'clock. See you then. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.